Hello friends, it's Alyssa back at you with some final facts. Yes, I am finally back and we're going to start things off with some new ideas. So I hope you guys enjoy this very special quarantine makeup tutorial. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and be on the lookout for some new content coming soon. Alrighty guys, let's get started. So first steps are going to be a couple of prep steps. The first thing you guys are going to want to do is go ahead and pull your hair back. Use some clips, use a ponytail holder, whatever you guys have. You just want to make sure your hair is pulled way back. Very similar to how pro-lifers are pulling back their concern for unnecessary loss of life. So really make sure you get that hair pulled back, guys. Step number 2, we are going to want to be prepped with a clean face. So you guys want to really make sure you've done a good clean, moisturize everything. The key thing you want to picture here is a clean slate. Much like the clean slate that over 40,000 millionaires are getting right now with their own personal stimulus package of about 1.6 million each. They're getting a nice clean slate. So kind of picture that. Clean face, clean slate. And then we're going to move on to your last prep step, step number 3 here. That's going to be primer. This is important, you guys. I like to use a good primer on my face. I also like to use a primer on my eyes if I know I'm going to be putting on eyeshadow. You guys probably can't tell, I have already put these on. So as you guys can see, I've already got all 3 prep steps completed. So much like the white race, we're going to start out ahead of the game on this one. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next steps now that we're all prepped and ready to go. So I know a lot of folks, some folks like to start with eyeshadow first, some like to do face and then work the other way. We're gonna go ahead and start with eyeshadow, just a personal preference. So today we're gonna go for a nice, as we said, a good nude, nice staying in home look. So we really wanna go with a couple of darker shades. The key here is picking out shades that are just dark enough that if they happen to be in Walmart right now wearing a face covering, a white woman named Karen would still call the cops on them. So I think we're probably gonna stick to this top row, a couple of good shades in there for a nice nude look. So let's go ahead and get those shades on. All right, we got our eyeshadow knocked out and looking good. Next step is going to be eyeliner. Even though we are doing, as we've said, a good stay-at-home look, you know your girl always likes a good wing, so we are going to do a little bit of wing action today. We're actually doing a little combo here. So the key thing is we do want our wing to be as sharp as a witty tweet from the queen herself, Miss AOC. However, we also want it to be about as subtle as a slow burn from a boy Bernie.
You get rid of the 9 super packs you have?
I don't have 9 super. I don't have any super
9.
packs.
You want me to list them?
No, yeah, you go ahead and list them.
Okay, come on, give me a break.
Perfect. Sharp yet subtle. We love to see it. All right, next step is going to be mascara. So some of you guys are freaking awesome and can apply falsies and do all of that. More power to y'all. Today we're just going to do the old school way because I cannot do any of that. Contact lenses, guys. We're going to just go with layers. Lots of layers. We still want that oomph with our mascara, with those lashes. Now you might be asking, how many layers until I can get that look? Well, we want to basically do, let's do about as many layers, about equal to how many lies Trump has told per White House briefing since coronavirus started. We'll go ahead and go with that. Good, but wait, maybe we need some more. A little pro tip for you guys, we're gonna do a 10-second push-up right here, just to give them a little more volume, and then, you know, I don't think we're quite caught up on the lies there, so let's go ahead and add a little more. I lost track, I think we were in the 70s or the 80s or something, and that seems about right to me, so we'll just do a little more oomph. Really spread those lashes out, get some volume. Perfect. All right, looking good. Eyes are done. It's time to move on to our next step, the face. First things first though, you guys are going to want to pick up a small fan brush and we're going to get all of the fallout from our eyeshadow and mascara. We just want to sweep that away So we're just gonna do a nice brush stroke here, very similar to how after coronavirus, Trump supporters are just gonna sweep away their support for low-wage essential workers and go right back to dehumanizing them. So just sweep it all away, just like that. We're gonna move on to the face now. First step of the face is concealer. So key thing with concealer is we are trying to cover up any dark spots or blemishes. Think like how the Trump admin wanted to cover up coronavirus like a month ago when he said that there was only gonna be about 15 cases and now we're at over 60,000 people dead. So we're just gonna cover that right up. Okay, now that we've got our concealer in place, we're gonna move on to foundation. Now, the key thing with foundation is we are trying to blur imperfections and make the skin appear more perfect than it actually is. So you really wanna think about the United States blurring tangible issues of social inequality that have been made apparent by a mass pandemic, and how we're doing that to make our country appear more stable. So we're just gonna go ahead and just blur those issues right out. Alrighty, foundation is good to go. Now we are going to want to set our foundation with a powder. Personally, I like to do two different powders. I like to start with a nice translucent white baking powder. And then I like to finish that off and just even out the skin with a good nude, more skin color powder. So again, much like the healthcare system and pretty much every other system in America, we're going to go ahead and start with the white powder first. So I just pour a little in the pan here, and then we are just going to put that all over. Now, if I'm getting really snazzed up, I might use this to bake and do a better contour down the road, but, you know, again, I'm just doing a nice stay-at-home look here, so we don't need to get, you know, Kardashian contoured. All right, now we're going to go ahead, white powder, maybe that nude powder, there we go. Pro tip, if you're super oily, that's another reason to apply two powders. I just said I cannot get enough powder to keep this skin matte where it needs to be. All right, one more on this nose. Awesome, we are in the home stretch, folks. Okay, we got our foundation and concealer set and ready to go with the powder. Next up is going to be contour and blush. Since we are doing a lighter look today, we're actually going to combine these together. What I like to do is, instead of doing a contour with contour powder, I instead like to use my blush that I'm going to do for the day and kind of use that to make my contour without having to do an extra step. So the key thing here with contour and blush is making your cheekbones look high. Now, I want you to have such high cheekbones, like these cheekbones want to look as high as Kent must have been to really admit just a couple of weeks ago that he didn't know that asymptomatic folks could spread the coronavirus. We want him to look about that high. Not as high as Kim's been looking, trying to open up Georgia like 3 weeks before everybody else. That's the high cheekbones we're going for. Okay, how are those cheekbones looking? High enough, I think so. We're gonna move on over to brows. Now, usually what I like to do when I do my brows, if I'm doing a full look, I like to use a little bit nicer pomade, a specialized thin brush, so I can really take my time, outline the brows, and fill them in perfectly. However, much like the US government right now, I just don't really feel like putting in the effort, so we're just gonna go with a little brow gel and just brush that on in. Alrighty, we got those eyebrows good and ready to go. I do want to say before our final steps, I did go ahead and go back and complete the eye look by just taking the lightest eyeshadow from the top and using that to accentuate the bottom under the eye. And then I took just a little bit of mascara along the lash line there on the bottom. So moving on to some of our last steps, one of my personal favorites, highlighter. The key thing here is shine. We want to accentuate those cheekbones. We want to get the nose, the lip, the brow bone. We just want to get that highlight going bright. I want it to shine so bright. It needs to be brighter than the futures of every mediocre white son of American billionaires. Now that we have got that highlight on point, yes, shining, we are moving on to the second to last step. Hang in there, guys. It's lippy time. We're going to start with a lip liner, and then we're going to fill that in with your favorite lip color. I'm going with a nice matte nude liquid lipstick today. So the key thing here, me personally, I do like to overline my lips just a little bit, just enough. So with the overlining, you want to think very similar to the overcompensation that is the US government trying to get us to focus on the fact that they know about UFOs now. One apocalyptic nightmare at a time, please. Thanks. Voila. Looking great. Alrighty, guys, last step. We are going to finish up our look with some setting spray. So the key thing with setting spray is this keeps your makeup looking great all day long. It basically just keeps it in place, much like all of you guys should be keeping in place and staying in your goddamn homes, please. Perfect. Alrighty, guys, thanks so much for joining me on something a little bit different today with this quarantine makeup tutorial. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, check out all the links, hit me up on Instagram, and I promise I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye!